Okay, good morning, everyone. Today we'll be discussing two different region in this introduction to area studies. The first one we'll be discussing about the region of Middle East and Northern Africa. Um, the first thing that I would like to explain is the origin of the name Middle East itself. Why it is called as Middle East. First thing first, you have to know that the term of Middle East was created by colonial powers of British and European and another European colonial power. As we can see in the case of Middle East, it was created by the Britain in order to differentiate the particular region of Middle East that you see here in the map from another region of the East. So there are three categorization of East according to the British government. The first one is the Far East. Far East is located in East Asia and also Southeast Asia. So Far East including Japan, China, Indonesia, Malaysia, and countries that are located in Asia, which is far from the British country. And the second one is there is the Middle East. Middle East is consisting of countries like Turkey, as you can see here in the map, because it is not too far from the Britain, so it is called as Middle. And the last one is Near East. So Near East is located in countries like Bulgaria, Russia, Georgia, Greece. Those countries are included as part of Near East because it is near to the Britain and Europe, of course. So they are making the center of the world uh, in London, in Greenwich, in Britain. So they are looking into these three kind of categorization. Okay, um, so it is a politically constructed conception, but in reality, we can see that Middle East could be categorized into several parts depending on its political culture as well as its linguistic affiliations. So we can see here that Middle East is usually divided into several minor regions. We can see that Saudi, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Yemen, Oman, Iran. These countries includes as the Gulf countries, or in Arabic language, we can call this region as Hijaz. Uh, in another context, we can also see that there are Morocco, Algeria, Libya, Tunisia, Egypt, could be included as part of the Al-Maghrib, or parts of the western part of the Middle East. We can see that there is another categorization that categorize the Syria, Jordan, Iraq, Iran, not Iran, Lebanon, and Israel as one category, which is called Asham or Levantine. And we can see that Turkey and Iran stands above from this region. Why? Because Turkey and Iran is not included in the Arabic world. Okay, so they are part of Middle East, but they are not necessarily part of the Arabic world. I don't really agree with this map because they include Afghanistan as part of Middle East. It is not. Yeah, Afghanistan is closer to the context of South Asia. I will explain you later. If you have any question, please just drop it in the comment box. And we can see here that Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia could be categorized as part of Middle East actually because they are still interacting with Arabic world, and they are part of the Arab League as well because they are Arab-speaking countries. Okay, and they are closely related to the political development in Middle East. Okay, uh, that is how we can see Middle East geopolitically. So geopolitically, they could be divided into different political culture. So, for example, people in Hijaz and in Maghrib has different kind of the political culture which contributes to their political system. We can see that Maghrib countries are more democratic than countries in Hijaz because in Hijaz they are mostly having a monarchical culture, which is founded by the cooperation between the Qabila or the tribes in that area. But in the context of the Maghreb countries, we can see that due to the influence brought by the French colonial powers, we can see that the political consolidation and political system there is heavily influenced by the Western, but not necessarily annihilating its traditional system. Yes. Okay. In other contexts, we can see that. geopolitically, the current geopolitical situation in the Middle East is currently under control by at least three countries. The first one is Turkey, the second one is Saudi Arabia, the third one is Iran. We can see that the contestation, the most serious contestation is happening between Saudi Arabia and Iran, while Turkey is trying to stand behind them. And even Turkey sometimes is trying um, to do a balancing politics against Iran and Saudi Arabia. But noting that currently Saudi Arabia is trying to do some kind of rapprochement with Saudi Arabia, we can see that this would bring effect to Turkey-Iranian relation and as well as the Iranian and Saudi Arabian relations. Um, but previously, the thing is not that like that in the Middle East, because we can see that in the case of Middle East during the Cold War, we can see that Egypt, as well as Syria, is playing a huge role in shaping the geopolitics in the Middle East because they are the closest ally to the Soviet Union, as well as the strongest enemy of the European blocs and the United States and against Israel as well, because Israel was close to the Western Bloc at that time, as well as the United States. Okay. Um, what else should I explain? Okay. In terms of the regional organization, we can see that Middle East is having one authority that could be uh, that could unite most of the countries in Middle East. I say most, not all. Why? Because Arab League is uniting the countries of the Arabic-speaking country on the basis of language and ethnicities. That's why Turkey is not included. That's why Iran is not included because they are not Arabic-speaking country. So Arab League is consisting of the country, not only those countries who are located in the Middle East and Northern Africa. We can see that Mauritania, not Western Sahara, but Western Sahara is debatable. We can see that Chad, Mali, which is also Arabic-speaking countries, are also involved as part of the uh, Arab League. We can see here that all of the countries in the Middle East are actually united in another organization, which is not necessarily a regional organization in regional context, but it's a global organization, which is united in Organization of Islamic Countries. So all of the Middle East countries are the members of the OIC. Okay. In other terms, you can see that the uh, regional effort has been done in the Gulf countries, especially because these countries that is Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, Oman, Saudi are united the in the same culture of Hijazi culture. So they are united in the organization called as the GCC or Gulf Cooperation Council. Speaking on the issue of comparative politics, you can see that most of the countries in the Hijaz, as I've said, is a monarchy because they have a very strong hierarchical culture, and they are building their political system based on the consensus between tribes, which eventually ends up in the monarchical system. In the context of Levantine, it is quite interesting because they are also having a similar context with the tribal culture of the Hijazi, but they are more open because they are more multicultural. They are having a Christian minority and also having a limited colonial presence there. So the political system was based on that context also. And they are still facing some challenges regarding the democratization. In the context of the Northern Africa, as I've explained you, they are currently facing a process of democratization, uh, which is also influenced by the colonial presence in the country. They are exposed to French culture and also French education, but at the same time they are still uh, very much a Muslim nations. So they are in this country. We can see that the concept of the Muslim democracies are developing in countries like Morocco and Tunisia, particularly. Speaking about Turkey and Iran is quite interesting because they have a separate history that is different from other Arabic countries. Turkey, as we know, they have the Ottoman Empire, and Iran has their own Safavid Empire. Turkey has been very influential in shaping the politics of Middle East from the Middle Ages to the modern era. That is why the legacy of Turkey in Middle East is often questioned and criticized by many Arab nationalists. And not all Arabs are very fond of Turkey, but many would be. That's why Turkey is a very popular tourist attraction for the Arabs. They're always finding freedom there. And Iran, because of their different language and different religious belief, we can see that Iran um, is pretty much alien in system. I forgot to mention the example of Israel. This is very important. Israel is also the alien of the Middle East. Why? Because they are the only Jewish state. So they are similar to Singapore in Southeast Asian context. Yeah. Speaking of Africa, when we are speaking about Africa, it's speaking about the country that is located below the Sahara. So Sahara is located in Morocco, Algeria, Libya, Egypt, Sudan, Chad, Niger, Mali, Mauritania, and those countries that are below the Sahara is called as a sub-Saharan Africa. So when I am talking about Africa, when we are talking about Africa in the context of the course in HIUE, we are of course talking about those countries which are located and categorized as sub-Saharan African countries. Um, so if we are talking about sub-Saharan African countries geopolitically, you must note that their borders were shaped by the colonial powers based on the agreement between colonial powers. I will continue the explanation later. Thank you very much for listening.